Travis Scott is actively hinting at a new album and why that new album is so important to him and why it likely could be JACKBOYS 2 as we'll go over today, so let's jump straight into this. If you want to stay up to date with everything surrounding hip-hop, make sure to subscribe and also become a part of this community by joining our Discord server in the description. Real quick, if you don't want to listen to this, make sure to skip 10 seconds into the future, but you can now sign up for my free newsletter with the first link in the description. It comes every Sunday and recaps everything that's been happening in hip-hop over the past week, so make sure to do that. So I know we're talking about a new Travis album. We just got Utopia, but I was surprised too, but that was over a year ago. I looked at the calendar, I was like, damn, that was July of 2023. It feels like it only dropped yesterday, maybe because the tour is now going on, but still, it's been over a year since Utopia dropped, so I don't think that the whole talking about a new album, him hinting at it, rumors going around, is that far-fetched or is that hectic by fans who can't just enjoy the stuff that just dropped, because up until Astroworld, we have to remember, he dropped basically every year, and only that break after Astroworld up to Utopia, with the exception of JACKBOYS, was that big wait that made us be okay with these big breaks in between albums. But we're talking about a new album because also he's hinting at it actively. So let's go over all the important stuff and why this new record probably isn't that far in the future, maybe even still this year, the next month. We'll talk about it. So first of all, Travis has a show coming up. Now you might have seen this, he announced this in July already, but it is a one-night show in New York, in MetLife Stadium, October 9th. It is a Utopia show, so we're not going to see a new album be performed there. It is a show for Utopia. It's called Only One Night in Utopia, and this is only in 2.5 weeks, so this is going to be pretty exciting. But a lot of fans have been saying that this could play a role in some new album coming out. He's actively hinting at stuff. For example, he was the cover of Cultures magazine, where he also had an interview that probably always accompanies a cover story, obviously. And in that interview, we've had this one part where he says, I'm gonna be back in New York, which will likely mean the MetLife Stadium show that he's doing, the one night in Utopia. I'm back in album mode. I've been working on music and shit every day on tour. When I'm doing the stadiums, because they're sold out, I can see the music for what it is. I'm fucking amped. So he's saying he's back in album mode. Now we also have to remember all those hints with him being backstage at the Utopia tour and him working on new music. Also, this one hint where he was making music that corresponds to the city that he's in, so a song for each city tour stop that he's at. We talked about this extensively back when this was going around right after Utopia dropped, so we have to remember that that is still out there. He's working on new music. Now, aside from this Cultures magazine clip, there was also another clip that was, for example, posted to Our Generation Music that I couldn't quite trace back on the source of. Let me know if you know where this clip is from. It could be in connection with the Cultures magazine, but in this clip, Travis is also saying that he's working on a new album, so he's actively putting out a lot of hints. Now, what this new album could be, obviously the next album that we're kind of expecting is not a solo record. It's likely JACKBOYS 2. JACKBOYS 2 has been confirmed by him that it's coming at some point. Honestly, I thought we were going to get it earlier just because he was mentioning it and he never mentioned it that directly before, but it is coming. He did say that, and the reason why I think this next album is so important is because of a recent situation that was going on surrounding Days Before Rodeo, because as you might know, as we've covered also quite extensively, the re-release of his classic 2014 mixtape Days Before Rodeo was pretty successful. It sold 361,000 units in its first week, which is insane for a mixtape re-release on streaming. It obviously had to do with the digital albums that were being sold together with the vinyls and the merch packs, which some people are saying it's a cash grab. I've read that a couple of times in the comments as well, and I get where you're coming from, but I would also like to look at it from the view that Travis fans have been waiting for anything surrounding Days Before Rodeo for 10 years. And how many people just wished for a vinyl over the past couple of years? And just for him to then bring that is also, I don't want to say a gift to the fans, because obviously he's making hella money with this, and to sell that much with a re-release is insane, and the amount of money he's making from the merch is also insane. But I do want to say that it wasn't in a way that was quite as obvious a cash grab as maybe some other stuff is, as maybe like a re-release of a greatest hits, or, you know, different editions of an album like Taylor Swift is doing. This was actually some demand from the fans when it came to merch and vinyl surrounding DBR, so I don't see it as that much of a cash grab. But still, the situation that I'm referring to is the number 2 spot that he took on the Billboard charts, which the first spot in that week went to Sabrina Carpenter, who with her, you know, 6th studio album at this point, sold about 1,000 units more than Travis with Days Before Rodeo. She sold 362,000. And Travis's team is now questioning, and I think, you know, also legally kind of wanting to proceed with this against Billboard and against the people responsible for counting the streams. But apparently there were 1,291 units sold that were not counted for Days Before Rodeo, which would have been the important 1,000 difference between it going number 2 and it going number 1. So Travis didn't secure the number 1 spot with Days Before Rodeo, but rather had to kind of take that second spot very closely and very mysteriously. It all seemed like there was a little manipulation going on. I don't want to look at this bias from a Travis point of view, because I would want Travis to go number 1. I don't care for Sabrina Carpenter, but still, you know, a lot of reports saying it was a little fishy, it was a little suspicious what was going on there. We don't know, but I do think that Travis and his team were kind of pissed that they didn't go number 1, and I do think that they want to kind of immediately supply us with music again, supply the charts with some music again that can go number 1, and I think the best bet that they could have right now is JACKBOYS 2, just because a solo album is not ready. He said he's working on it. He did, you know, confirm JACKBOYS 2 before, and when you take a look at his release schedule over the past 10 years, it's usually always been solo album, collab album, solo album, collab album. You know what we've had with Birds in the Trap, and then Huncho Jack, then we've had Astroworld, then JACKBOYS, then we've had Utopia, and at this point it should be JACKBOYS 2, if, you know, that's kind of how we're counting this. So obviously this is not confirmed that JACKBOYS 2 is coming, but maybe at that October show in New York, we'll get some info from him. We'll kind of get some hints as to what is actually up with JACKBOYS 2 and what the next album could be, but I do think his next album is JACKBOYS 2, and that's kind of what he's hinting at with all of this stuff. And I think that JACKBOYS 2 will kind of be the revenge, will kind of be the redemption for Days Before Rodeo not going number 1, and I think that's why he wants to prove that point with JACKBOYS 2, because the whole situation was a little fishy. But let me know what y'all think about this. Do you think that Travis is about to drop JACKBOYS 2? Do you think it could still be this year? I could really see that happening. The first one dropped in December, so that could be a very good time for him to drop it now as well. Let me know your thoughts on this whole situation surrounding Sabrina Carpenter as well in the comments down below. If you watched this video to the end and liked it, and you want to stay up to date with all current hip-hop events and releases, make sure to subscribe, turn on notifications, hit that like button, and go follow my social media, and most importantly, join my Discord in the description. Until the next one, you'll have an incredible day, and y'all take care.